Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. Jurassic Collector here, and today I have a review of the brand new Mattel Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Dino Escape Slash and Battle Scorpios Rex. This is of course the brand new Scorpios Rex figure from Mattel as part of the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous toy line. Scorpios Rex was in Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Season 3. If you haven't checked out Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Season 3, I'd actually recommend it. It was actually really good. Definitely one of the best seasons so far. And of course, Scorpios Rex features in it. And I actually really liked the design of Scorpios in the show. Then when we saw some pictures of the actual toy, I was a bit on the fence about it. But I just did want to pick it up to review here with you guys today and see what my opinions are by the end of this video. I did pick this up from Smith's Toys here in Ireland, got it delivered. It was $34.99, so it's not cheap, it's definitely expensive, but it is actually quite large. Like it's larger than I thought, and I knew people said that when they got it first, but it actually is. Like when I got it, I was like, it's big. It is electronic, of course, and we'll get into all that. But first up, let's take a close look at the packaging. Up here in the top left hand corner, we have the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous logo, and we have Toro. Then down here we have Darius and Dino Escape. Then we see Slash and Battle Scorpios Rex, and then Aegis 4 Plus and Mattel logo, and then a picture of the Scorpios Rex attacking a Rarasaurus. Then when we come up with that beautiful packaging art of the broken fence in the background, and we've the Netflix logo up here, a sound emblem to let you know this figure makes sounds, and then two pictures here showing the action features with two arrows. So there's two buttons here, and we'll get into all of that later on in the video. And on this end we have the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous logo, and this end we have the Dino Escape logo. Here's the back of the packaging. So up here in the corner we have the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous logo and the Jurassic Facts app compatibility, Dino Escape, a picture of the action feature in action there, sound emblem, another picture here of the slashing action, then the tail whip feature. Then down here in the bottom corner we have 4 of the new wild packs, so that is wave 1, so Rarasaurus, Zuniceratops, Dimorphodon and Draco Rex, and then some more legal information. Here's the bottom of the packaging. There's nothing really too interesting there, but there's the barcode if you need it. So yeah, that's it for the packaging on this figure. This figure of course looks very unique and very strange dinosaur. Obviously it is a hybrid, and this is the second Dino Escape figure we're looking at here on the channel, so I'm really excited to dive more into the Dino Escape line. So all that's left to do now is get this figure out of the packaging, and here it is out of the packaging. As you can see, it's sporting a very dark paint scheme and very sinister look, and again it is just a really large figure, like larger than I was anticipating. It's bigger than expected.
It's bigger than expected.
So yeah, first up let's take a look at the sculpt. The face sculpt is pretty nice. The thing it's missing is quills on the head there, on the back of the head. When I first saw this figure and then saw the the design of it in the show, it's missing the quills. That's the first thing I noticed, and it is a shame that it's missing that because it doesn't look complete without the quills to me. I don't know, I just would have loved them to actually put the quills on the head. I don't know why they didn't. Makes no sense to me, but anyway. The face is nice though. It is very short. It is very like stumpy almost. That's kind of like the feeling you get from the Scorpios Rex head, like in the show, so that's good. And it doesn't have like necessarily a bunch of scaling detail. It does have some scaling, but it just does have like kind of texture to it. You can see there like lines and just like all these different like shapes basically. I guess to make it look different from the other figures, so I guess that makes sense. But there's some like scaling kind of back here, some finer scaling and then some larger scaling. And we have the teeth, the teeth are really impressive on this. The mouth is actually one of the most impressive things. The mouth is kind of what sold me on this. Look at those teeth, they're so jaggedy, and because they're molded in a separate plastic, they're not painted, so they're able to create this really gnarly look with the teeth, just like we see in the show, and that's really cool. They've done a really great job. I mean, there's even some teeth on the inside there, you can see. That looks so cool, and the roof of the mouth is sculpted, and there is a tongue sculpted in there too, and the tongue does have some texture, which is nice, and you can see the teeth interlock there then into the mouth, and that just looks so cool, the way the teeth just interlock and then you open it and they're like all jaggedy. They've done a really great job on the teeth actually, I have to say. Yeah, this is really interesting. It has like these like spine almost, it looks like armor plating almost, running along from the top of the head here, and that's running down throughout the body. You can see there, bit of detail going on there in the arms, nothing too crazy. There is some quills on the arms, and the quills on the arms actually look really nice there. So they would have looked great on the head too, because they are quite thin. They're not like really thick, like plastic looking. They are pretty nice. So here we have the hand itself. Now, I'm pretty sure the Scorpios Rex is missing a thumb. Like I am sure it had a thumb. It had a thumb in the show, and the figure doesn't have the thumb. So that's that's a bit disappointing. It's not the biggest deal, but you know, it is. It had it in the show, so you know, like the quills, it should have had it. But there is some musculature actually in the arm here. You can see the arm's quite musculature. We have some like skin underneath here. It looked like it had like liposuction or something underneath the body part there. It's a little bit weird. You can see that there. It just goes in like it's like sucking its belly in or something like that. It looks a bit weird. You can see that there. But there is some really nice detail packed into the leg as well here. We do have some finer scales around here, and then in the center we kind of have these larger scales and some musculature lines. A nice musculature calf there, you can see. Then we have this like claw sticking out the back there, which is really cool, and you can see on this side as well, on this leg. That looks really cool, and it makes it look really unique. And I had that in the show, and it's like scorpion-esque, which of course, you know, Scorpios Rex is part scorpion, so that is really cool, and I love to see that. That's cool. Then the feet here are actually really nice. For a Mattel figure, normally their feet are super oversized. This is quite thin, like in width, but it is quite long. And it does have a sickle claw there, which is really, really nice. Very raptor-like. And then we come down here, and we have some more detail back here. And then the tail has a bunch of scaling going on, which is really nice. And that kind of plating continues on through the body there as well, and it stops here just before we get to the tip of the tail here, which has loads of spikes. Those spikes obviously are in the show, and you know, when they hit Sammy, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Camp Cretaceous Season 3, when the Scorpius hits off Sammy, and you know, these spikes are poisonous. So that was really cool feature. Like when the Scorpius would like whip its tail in the show, it would like some of these spikes would like come loose and like go flying into like walls and stuff. That was really cool. So it is nice to see Mattel incorporate that into this figure, and you can see it is a separate piece there. And it looks a little bit jarring because it does kind of look different. This feels very matte here, whereas this is more shiny. And overall, the finish on this figure is kind of shiny, kind of matte. Like, it's not super matte, but it's also not as shiny as like the Indoraptor. Here's the underneath of the figure. We have the jaw. Now, that's one thing I don't like about this. The jaw, the way it was like sculpted for the action feature, it looks really, really weird. I don't know why it has this really weird cut-out point. I just think it looks so weird, and the colors don't match there either. So the detail's nice. We can see some like skin here running along, which is nice. Then we have like the sound department, battery box, and then we just have some more kind of like veins almost underneath here, which is really cool. I actually really like that. It almost looks like veins bulging out here. And then we have the spikes at the top there. Here we have the foot, so we can see it has the T-Rex stamped in to let you know it is an official Mattel Jurassic World product. And then there is the scan code if you want to scan that into your Jurassic Facts app. So overall, the sculpt on this figure is actually really nice. I do like the sculpt. There is some nice detail packed in to the figure throughout, like I showed you, and it is a large size. It's a large figure, a lot larger than I expected. Next up, let's take a look at the articulation. So for articulation, it is quite minimal on this figure. We do have a ball joint in the head, which is nice, and I actually was surprised by that, considering the head is tied into the action feature, which we'll look at in a few minutes. But the head can move up, down, left, and right. It can't like rotate, you know, like actually rotate like this way, but it can just like move up and down and side to side, which is nice. The arms is one of the biggest gripes about this. They're tied into the action feature, so they can't be moved at all. Like, they cannot be posed in any way, shape, or form. So that is a little bit disappointing. The jaw is tied into the action feature as well, so that's not posable. The leg here, the legs are posable, which is nice. They do kind of like lock into that one point there, but then they also can move other ways like this. Both legs are posable, so you can get some really cool looking poses with this figure like that. There is of course ankle articulation like on all of these Mattel figures to help for stability, but this figure stands really well on its own. Like it really does stand well. So they balanced it out really good. The tail here is movable, but it is kind of like an action feature. We'll take a look at it in a minute. So that really only gives this figure 5 points of articulation. You know, the head here we have, which rotates, like I said. The legs can move like so, and then the ankles. The tail is tied into an action feature, which we'll look at in a minute, and it's not posable. So the posable parts are the head here, and the legs and the ankles. Now for the paint job on this figure. The actual figure itself is molded in this very dark, it's a very dark plastic. It's almost like a navy kind of black. It's like a very, very slight tint of like a blue kind of color. But you can see there, it's not black either. It is a little bit lighter, but it is still very dark. Then along the top, we have black spray painted on, and it's so hard to catch on camera. It really is. And it's even hard to see in person, but it is there. There is black paint on the top. You can see the top is quite dark, but then the sides get brighter. You can see that black paint actually there. And that's sprayed onto end part here, and then this piece here is kind of molded in a darker plastic. And then the head here, the jaw is actually molded in this yellow color, and all of the teeth are molded as well, and they're molded in like a cream kind of tooth color. The mouth is molded in a nice pink color, as is the roof of the mouth there. The eye is orange, and it just has a dot pupil, and underneath is the color showing through of the actual figure. The eye leaves a bit to be desired. I'm a little bit disappointed by the eye. It could have done with like a black pupil and then like maybe even a bit of white. I don't like these like just one color eyes with like just like a circle pupil with no color underneath. The eye is like one of the most iconic parts about Scorpios in the show when it like comes out for the first time to the camp. So I would like to see a bit more detail in the eye. Then that's really it for the paint on the body here. So like I said, it's molded in that color, and then there's a bit of black paint on the top, and then underneath kind of have this like yellow beige color is the best way to describe it. The problem I have with it is this yellow jaw is molded in a completely different color. It looks completely different, as does this like sound part here and battery bay. They're a different color to the paint here. So this matches this molded piece here as well, because they're molded in that, but then the paint doesn't match. So I would have loved the paint to match that, or this to match the paint. It looks off because of that, and I am disappointed by that. I wish they matched. It just looks so weird, and they look so different, especially when you're looking at it from the side here. I mean, you can see that there. They do look different quite a bit. So I would have loved them to match a bit more. There is no paint on the toe claws, unfortunately. It is a bit disappointing, but considering this figure is very, very, very dark, it's not noticeable. So I'm not going to complain about it on this figure and that it doesn't have any toe claw paint, because I mean, it's almost black. It's like a very, very dark gray kind of blue color, and so it's not too noticeable on this particular figure. So yeah, overall the paint job, it's pretty simple, but it does what it needs to kind of do. You know, the show the Scorpios was just this very, very dark kind of color anyway, so it wasn't like bright crazy colors. It basically looked like this, kind of had a yellowy beige underbelly, and it was very, very dark with some, I guess, some black on the top as well. But yeah, the paint job, like I said, it's not super detailed, but it doesn't really need to be. It kind of works for what it is. So now let's talk about the action features on this figure, what you're probably here for. So on the back of the figure here, it's very hard to see because it's so dark, but you have two buttons there. They are pretty well hidden, I have to say, because it's such a dark plastic, I guess. There is one button here and then another button here. So this first button opens the mouth and it roars. So that is really cool, and I was really impressed that the head was on a ball joint, considering it was tied into an action feature. I didn't think it would be able to actually move, considering it was tied in back here, but somehow they did it. They managed to like tie in the action feature even though the head can move. So that's really, really nice to see, because that head moving makes this figure like so much better instantly. If that head was just kind of like static, or like it just moved up and down, it would have been a bit disappointing. But the fact that you can kind of turn and look at you like that, or look away, really does help. And then this button back here, the last button here, makes the arms move, and it makes a slashing sound. So it almost looks like it's digging, as you can see there. So yeah, it is very reminiscent of the Grab and Growl Indoraptor with that like arm moving feature, but I am really impressed with all the sounds. The sounds sound like the Scorpios Rex from the show. A little bit of me kind of expected like maybe a T-Rex sound or Indoraptor or Indominus, but no, they actually use Scorpios Rex sounds, so I'm really impressed with that, that they actually used sounds from the show, so that's really, really impressive. And then the last kind of like action feature, doesn't make noise or anything, is the tail. And you can see it has an articulation point there, and it is imposable, but it has like a spring inside of it. So if you pull the tail over like this, it just kind of like strikes back like that, as you can see. So it is like a spring-loaded tail. I mean, I guess kids will like it. It's probably pretty cool. I'm not sure how effective it is. I'll just bring in the Carcharodontosaurus here. and just see, will it knock it over? Oh, okay, it did. It worked. So yeah, this figure has three, I guess you'd call it three action features if you want. You have that opening jaw, which looks so cool right there. Then you have the slashing arms. And then you have that tail whip feature there. Now it's time for some size comparisons. So here we have John Hammond next to the Scorpios. You can see it's so much bigger than John Hammond. Now I don't have any of the Camp Cretaceous kids, unfortunately. None of the, I mean, only Darius has been released so far, but some of the rest of the gang is coming at least. But nothing like, none of the kids have been released here in Ireland, at least as of yet. But here's the Tim Murphy figure from the new Legacy pack. So that'll just kind of give you an example of kind of how the kids would look. As you can see, if I just remove John there, it is massive next to their kid, like massive, like it almost looks like T-Rex size. So I think it's a little bit too big in scale, to be honest. I don't like, from the show it looked big, but it did not look this big, right? I mean, this looks massive. We'll see, can it pick up Tim? The arm's kind of in the way there, but if I move the head over, I guess. Okay, it actually does. It picks up Tim. That's pretty cool. Sorry, Tim. And then we let him go like that. And then it can like slash him, I guess. So that slashing feature actually works well when you position the figure kind of in this position where it's kind of leaning downwards, but the figure is still on the ground. And you can like slash at like a human figure. That's actually pretty cool. And then here's the Slash and Battle Scorpios Rex figure next to my favorite Mattel T-Rex, the new Extreme Chomping T-Rex that comes with the Ford Explorer. I did review this on my channel, and you can check that video out by clicking the link up there. But this is the same Extreme Chomping mold from Mattel that we've had multiple times, but you can just see there how big this Scorpios Rex figure is. I mean, these are like almost the same size. Like this Rex is not much bigger. You can see that there. So yeah, I mean, this Extreme Chomping T-Rex is a little bit smaller than the T-Rex actually is anyways, but you can just see size wise there. It's a really, really big figure. And then here's the Scorpios Rex next to this large gyrosphere that came with Claire. Actually, these look really, really cool because this is a really large figure and this gyrosphere is large. They look cool. Yeah, I mean, you can see again, it's just such a large figure. It really, really is. And you can definitely create some really cool scenes with it. And then here's the comparison I know at least I wanted to see, was the Destroy and Devour Indominus Rex by Mattel and the Scorpios Rex. Now, I love the Indominus Rex. It's my favorite hybrid from the Jurassic franchise. It really is. It's just, to me, it's the coolest. Unfortunately, the Indominus Rex figure from Mattel is a little bit disappointing. As you can see, it's like slouched over, like super slouched over. It should be up like that in like a neutral pose, but it doesn't. But the Super Colossal Indominus is one of their best figures. It is so amazing. But this is the Indominus from the main line, which would be kind of in scale. You can see there, Scorpios is massive next to it. Indominus is big. I just have it up in an incline for a second to get it to kind of stand up. But you can see Scorpios Rex, it's up there. I mean, it's pretty tall next to Indominus. So that is really, really cool. Indominus has that roaring feature. And then so does the Scorpios Rex. So yeah, these look really cool, no doubt. I mean, obviously these two didn't interact in the show together, but there's no doubt that kids are going to love playing with these two. So that is my review of the brand new Mattel Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Dino Escape Slash and Battle Scorpios Rex. This figure, like I said, I picked it up just to review with you guys. I didn't expect to, you know, at the start I was a little bit skeptical about it because it was missing some things, and you know, it's still there. It's definitely not perfect. You know, it is missing the quills on the head. It's missing a thumb from the hands, and it has like a weird color match problem there underneath. But I do like it, and I didn't think I would like it as much as I do. I absolutely love that the head has articulation, and the action features are actually fun, and I know kids will love them. The teeth are blew me away. It's really impressive how they done the teeth. Very happy with the teeth. Yeah, overall I think it's actually a really cool figure. I mean, you can see it from the front even there. It looks sinister. It looks like a nightmare dino. I just wish you could look down more, so that when you like had it up higher like that the head could actually like kind of look down. But when you do have it down like that digging kind of action feature works really well. So yeah, I actually would recommend you pick it up if you do really want a Scorpios figure, but there's another Scorpios figure coming out in a pack with Kenji and a small gyrosphere. And I think that one is going to be more posable. It doesn't have all of these action features. The arms are going to be able to move and stuff like that. So that'll be much better if you want a more posable Scorpios. And I was actually waiting out. I'm going to just get that one. I just had to get this one to review with you guys because it is still it's not really out in many places. So I said I'd review it here for you guys today. So please make sure to like this video if you have not already. It really helps me out. I'd really appreciate it. And also, do not forget to subscribe down below if you have not already. And hit the bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a brand new video. It's 35 euros. So for 35 euros, I mean, you know, in the last video I did review the Mega Destroyer's Carcharodontosaurus. And I absolutely I really like this figure. Again, I had some problems, like I said, in that video. But this was 33 euros. This was 35. The Scorpios is bigger. And it makes sound. So for 35 euros, I did think it was a little bit expensive, but I didn't realize how big it was. So for 35 euros, it's not too bad. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Until next time, peace out. Rah, rah.